In this video, we're talking about autism in girls and why people have called you rude your entire life. All that's coming up. This is my partner.
Hey guys, I'm Flavia and I'm also autistic. I was late diagnosed with autism and ADHD, cool. And I'll just share my personal experience with you.
Okay, so number one is all about masking. So explain a little bit about masking and what it's like from a girl's perspective.
So in my experience, I guess we learn how to mask really early on. And just by having bad experiences with people. So I feel like the moment you show them that you have something that is unacceptable or different, like your special interest, maybe it's not acceptable for girls, or, you know, you are talking to a friend and they realize that you have sensory issues. You start complaining about noises, complaining about things, then they don't enjoy your company as much. So you learn pretty much like very early on to hide those things. So yeah, by the time I was maybe 10, I knew that I shouldn't really be talking about my special interests to everyone because it drove them away.
Yeah, because it's different with boys, because like boys will just, like on the spectrum, men on the spectrum or boys on the spectrum will just say their thing, and without that kind of social consciousness or group acceptance. I wouldn't say social consciousness, like group acceptance, yeah?
I guess, yeah.
So males aren't typically kind of conscious about that on the spectrum, but females are, right? Like that's kind of like one of the big ones. And it's interesting what you said. A friend of mine, Alice, she was really into like race cars and like mechanical things and loved cars, like knew everything about cars. But I found that as well when she said about it. I was like, wow, I've never come across a lady who is that interested in cars. And for me, I thought it was cool, but I can see how, you know, the people who aren't autistic are going to be like, what's this?
Yeah, what?
Odd, right? Like,
yeah. Like you have people in your family, like girls in your family on the spectrum that are interested in trucks.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Like they know everything about trucks and
drive trucks for a living.
Imagine like if they So imagine if they go and talk to their friends about it, the friends won't really engage or could find it weird, and then we start hiding it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that we start like hiding to try and be more like accepted.
Yeah, because you're trying to fit in all the time. And I think that's one of the biggest things. Like girls on the spectrum are wanting to try and fit in, which we'll cover in a bit. Like it kind of actually rocks the boat more because
100%.
You're putting yourself out there way more than you can possibly bear with.
Yeah. You're basically not being yourself constantly just to try and fit in, because we don't understand why we don't belong. You just don't belong anywhere, and you think that if you hide who you really are, then it'll work. You'll you know.
And this is especially more interesting because like being late diagnosed, you hadn't even got to that point yet. So before we get diagnosis, you think you're like completely detached from reality, and you must think that you're going crazy, or you know there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, 100%. I always felt like I was just an alien. I just felt like I didn't belong anywhere. Like I just couldn't connect with girls my age, or you know, it was just so difficult, and nothing they talked about like was interesting to me. Yeah,
because it's like,
you know,
peer interaction.
It just feels like I was watching everyone and not really
being able to participate.
Yeah, I was enjoying it, you know, the group.
And I guess like many people are gonna have this experience, whether you've been diagnosed late or early. You're still gonna have to experience, because that is what the trait or the type of characteristic will display itself as.
As an adult, in university, I would still try to be a little bit myself, because you try, like in the beginning, you completely like hide your true self in a sense, but as you grow older, you kind of try to show people like, no, you know, like you want to be yourself. So, in university, for example, I would sometimes share my interest about birds. I've always liked birds and, you know, bird watching, wildlife and all those things. So I always knew a lot about birds. And you find people who will, you know, like find it interesting that you know those facts, and you'll find people who will make fun of you.
Yeah. That's so
for
odd.
knowing so much about something like so niche, you know, that nobody actually is interested.
Yeah, because it's like, especially if you're in a university for dentistry.
Yeah.
Everyone's like,
there's me like identifying all the birds, and people are like, oh wow, that's not useful. So
yeah, no, and I suppose like, and typically people are going to be interested in kind of like who's dating who as well in their social life. It becomes more of a social idea, whereas kind of autism pulls you into like more of an interest and thought idea rather than more social ideas, right? When you're in a
but
in a group.
as a girl on the spectrum, I think we also are worried about like socializing and learning. That was my experience. I always wanted to understand, like, why are they
That's
talking
interesting.
about certain things? How can I,
learn more
learn about things? That's another thing about masking.
Mm.
We try to research about what other people are, like, their common interests, so what are people my age talking about?
Like, how do I fit in?
How to know more about Big Brother, whatever they're talking about.
Exactly. That's super interesting, because then it kind of leads on to the fact that then the camouflage part of what's been a big issue with diagnosing girls on the spectrum is that the camouflage is that that's exactly it. You look at, well, how are they socializing? What do they do? Okay, we'll just follow this format and repeat it. Even though you don't know or want to do that, you just do it just to fit into, like, 100%. It's like a survival mechanism.
So you seem, from an outside perspective, as a neurotypical person, just belonging in a group, because you will, while you're masking, you will find groups in which you are accepted. But then once you, sometimes, my experience, sometimes when I started showing more about, my true self, then people, like, that drove people away.
Moving on to number 2 is selective mutism. Which is really interesting, and it's not. And I just want a statement that a lot of people think selective mutism, like, selectively being quiet, is something that only children on the spectrum deal with. But it's kind of not the case. But and this is also quite prominent in females.
And I think it was your first time, like, seeing this in real life. I've always had this since I was a child, obviously, but nobody knew why. Sometimes I would just go mute. I just couldn't tell my parents what was wrong. I would cry a lot after school, like almost every day, and then just be like, I remember crying, not knowing why, and I couldn't express anything, just I couldn't talk. And it still happens as an adult.
It's so interesting, because, like, a lot of people, when it happens, you can't even explain why it's happening, because it's happening, and then that causes to be like, well, the person's gonna think I'm rude. They're going to think I'm ignorant, or you just don't feel, you're going to get called all kinds of names. And then when you don't reply, people are going to be like, oh, this person doesn't care, so I'm going to just not bother with them. And then you're going to lose connections, lose friendships. It's a whole kind of cascade until you can get that kind of, you come around from it, you can calm yourself down, get yourself grounded and regulated.
So Dan studies about autism. He knows everything about autism, but he had never
seen certain things
happening. And the first time it happened, I guess he just wasn't expecting it, or didn't know how to help me come out of it. And so his first thought it was that, also because of rejection sensitivity dysphoria, he felt like I was ignoring him, and that I was mad at him. And it wasn't the case, obviously, but I remember, like, not being able to I started crying because I wanted to explain what was going on, and he felt like I was mad at him, and completely not the case. Eventually, he just waited it out. We just wrote it out.
We just sat. We
just sat.
Because, like,
he hugged me, like, comforted me.
Because that's the thing. Like, I came from a place of compassion, so I was like, I knew that, like, we hadn't argued or anything. Like, nothing was crazy. So I was like, So it was something else. I think maybe, and this is a question for you though. Do you think that, like, writing it down or texting somebody would be able to, like, or even having just a symbol, like an emoji code? Because we've used this before as a form of communication, where if one of us is busy and we're unable to text back properly, to not make us worry, we just send an emoji, a certain type of emoji that we know is a signal to be like, everything's fine, I'll text you later. Without having to, like, type it all out.
I think that works for when we're busy, but when I'm going through it's a shutdown.
It is like a shutdown.
Like the mutism, it's kind of like an autistic shutdown. I don't have the capacity to, like, oh, I'm gonna text someone to let them know that I can't talk. Like, that doesn't cross my mind at all.
Interesting.
So it wouldn't. I can't see it happening.
Yeah. Because, like, for guys, I guess, like, the shutdown would never usually have the selective mutism, because with guys it's more like just like an anger kind of, like, it's like a shutdown, and you're irritated. So someone talks to you, it's like, oh, I can't do it.
So, like, your shutdown is actually a meltdown, more like.
But like, but if you're on your own, it's isolated. The shutdown's like, flip, I just need to, get
Just a
myself
lot of
together.
thoughts.
Yeah, loads of overwhelming things. So if anybody asks anything else of you, then that would probably cause like a full-on meltdown. Like, yeah.
Yeah. If you're experiencing selective mutism, and let's say you're in university and you have you spend a whole day without talking to anyone. This happened to me in university. There were days where I was experiencing this, but I'd still have to go to class. So I'd go to class.
Yeah.
But I couldn't talk to anyone. So people thought I was completely
just being
rude,
ignorant or whatever. Yeah.
Or
because you have to go to class, right? So there's not much you could do.
Yeah, and
because you're physically able to move your body.
I can, yeah, but it's not like I can't function. I don't feel like it's a functional state, but it's autopilot kind of almost. So I had to go to class. I went to class, but I could not speak to anyone. So imagine from those people's perspective,
you're just being ignorant, right?
It's what? She was just fine yesterday talking to everyone, and then today she's here and she is completely ignoring us.
And then it kind of it almost makes you it adds a negative to your social ability and social experience, because then people want to become less social with you because she's a weirdo. It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, you never know. My friends at the time, they would always be like, we never know what to expect from you. Sometimes you come in and you're all happy, you're chatty, you're bubbly, and then the next day or the same day in the afternoon, you're silent, you're mute, or extremely irritated. So people never knew what to expect from me, and I understand how difficult it must be for them.
Yeah.
And I didn't know why I was the way I was. But yeah, so that can make people call you rude and feel like you're being rude. And if you don't know you're on the spectrum, I didn't,
it's kind of,
you don't even understand why
how
that's
do you even explain it?
Yeah, you can't even explain.
By the way, guys, we make videos like this every single week. So if you're new around here and you want to learn more about autism, specifically males and females, be sure to hit that subscribe button by clicking the notification bell down below this video. And we have a free online life hacks tool bespoke for you. So if you go to www.autismhacks.net, you fill in your details and we'll be able to produce for you hacks that you can use in your daily life to help you on the spectrum. The next one is small talk. And this is really interesting because small talk is crazy. And I want to know, by the way, guys, are you relating to the fact that small talk is a difficulty? Because I feel like small talk is a difficulty for males as well, but I want to hear your perspective on it. Now, if you're watching this video and you're male or female, let me know what your experience is with small talk, if it affects you or if you're cool with it, because some people are. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I'm not. No, it's just I don't see the point. I don't understand why we need why this is a part of socializing that's so important. I don't understand. But we have to do it in certain circumstances. You just have to do it as an adult, especially if you work, if you are picking your kids up in school, it's gonna happen, and you can't just ignore people. So but the problem is that we know we need to make small talk. We try to learn how to make small talk. I tried. I try every day because I still get it wrong. But what happens sometimes is that a person will come to me and, oh, hey, how are you doing? And I'll go, good, and not ask a question back.
Oh, yeah.
So that's already wow, rude. Or
yeah, people expect a certain level of communication from people.
Yeah, that's the small talk. I think they want to ask a question and you have to ask them back.
Oh man.
Anyways, I remember once in school pickup, this mom came up to me. She's like, "Hey, how are you?" I'm like, "Hey, good. How are you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing great." And then she's like, "Good. Any plans for the weekend?" And I'm like, "No." And that's it. I ended the small talk because I forgot to ask her back. I was like, no, and ended the conversation.
But it's the thing about small talk though is I feel like the women get it the most because they're almost as society wants you to be more social as females,
women
right?
have to be more social.
Yeah. It's kind of more acceptable for a guy to just be ignorant and grunt.
To just go, hey. Hey.
But for women, it's almost society expects you to be well, we have to be social, have to have coffee, we have to go out and see the girls and all this kind of stuff.
And have manners,
so there's an added pressure on top of the fact that not only does it seem kind of superfluous, it also is added pressure, I have to do something that's superfluous.
But also, in my experience, it's not that I don't ask a question back, not because I don't care. Like sometimes, yeah, because I don't really want to know. But most of the times it's because I am overstimulated by the environment. So like school pickup, huge trigger, like lots of kids screaming, shouting, like running, getting hurt. Lots of things happening. So just being out there.
Now, guys, if you want to see more videos about kind of like, autism and our relationship on males and females, just let us know in the comments what kind of stuff would you like to see, because this would be something very useful for us to know if you'd like to see more videos from us as a family unit of having autism and what that's like, because I tell you, it's pretty crazy, but awesome.
So just being out there, outside of our safe space, it's overstimulating, and sometimes like it just like makes you less functional. And we forget all those things that we think we know about small talk, about, anything.
You may believe it is, Jill.
Your autism becomes visible sometimes. But people 100%. Don't know. That's why we are trying to bring awareness to certain things, because people will sometimes assume that you're being disrespectful, rude, because you don't ask a question back or you don't engage in that small talk, right?
Exactly. And I think that leads on to the next one, which is the social anxiety, right? Social anxiety is a huge player. And I think it's like the next two kind of roll into one. Social anxiety and then isolation because of said social anxiety. So if you're enjoying this video, guys, make sure to give it a thumbs up and like, because we need an indicator to know that you're enjoying this kind of stuff, and we'll do more.
That's something that is so prominent, I think, for all women on the spectrum, because of all those other things we mentioned, like the masking, the difficulty with small talk, selective mutism and everything, we and we're labeled, because of all those things. Like our sensory issues sometimes lead people to label us as like too picky or too irritable, like everything annoys
high
you.
Standards.
Like so
rigid to things,
too you don't rigid. So you're labeled your whole life, and then you kind of assume that you are difficult and
you're the problem.
You are the problem. This causes social anxiety. So you are afraid to meet new people. You're afraid to be in a room with more than 2 or 3 people. And that was very real for me. Like I was never part of a large group. It was always just me and a couple friends. I was always more comfortable with just 2 or 3 people max around. And it's what going an entire life undiagnosed can cause a very difficult and prominent, just visible social anxiety.
But because of that, and this is like the last point, is that like social anxiety would cause you, and we have this as a joint, so I know you experience this, we just tend to not go anywhere because of the social anxiety. Then you become isolated. And isolation is, I guess, is okay because we find comfort in isolation. But as a human being, isolation becomes something that's almost detrimental if it's long-term. It becomes, you become almost, you seclude yourself from reality almost in a way, which isn't good.
It's not good. And it's impossible. Like if you have children, you're trying to be like just to do life. It's impossible to be alone, to not have support or friends, people, family around you. You can't. So it's complicated. Because
I'd say that's one of the most debilitating things about the social isolation part, because like you have social anxiety and you don't go anywhere, but that also stops you going to the store to buy food or, even getting basic human needs met.
Yeah, like me, I struggle with going anywhere, but I do it. Like I can go to a store and get groceries. I can do things like school drop off, pick up, but it's exhausting. It's very draining.
And then you're like spent, because I see this.
Yes, yeah. But so yeah, if I could, I would avoid it.
Yeah. You said this. You said, I just want to stay in my house all day.
I just, what do you want? I just want to, be in the room.
Yeah, just away from everyone.
No noise all day.
Yeah.
But, like groceries, sometimes I would use services that are paid. So I'd pay more for a personal shopper to go get me groceries because it's too overstimulating. And if I do that, I won't function in another area afterwards. So
But then again, you can see how that impacts your life again, because it's adding an expense because of a disability, right?
100%.
It's
Yeah.
like, wow. And it's so fascinating. And the amount of girls who probably face all this and aren't diagnosed or don't even know that this is part of that, right? Because they're called fussy, picky, high maintenance, or all this nonsense, right? It's so interesting. Oh, here's a bonus thing we wanted to add in because I think it's important. Flavia had mentioned it, and she was like, this is super, super big.
Yeah. Is that women, I mean, autistic people in general, we tend to be very honest. So
yes,
when someone comes like during small talk, oh, how do you like this weather? You know, and it's clearly like sunny weather. This is my personal experience. I don't cope very well with heat, and I very much prefer the winter. Am I alone?
that's not me. Yeah. I'm a summer person. She's a winter person.
Then people come to me, oh, it's perfect weather, right? And I'm like, no, I very much dislike this. I can't wait for winter to come back. And people are like, wow, oh, okay. And they feel like uncomfortable. And then I'm like, why couldn't I just like agree to go with
right? But I guess it's like, and that's the thing here, like autism's giving you that blunt honesty, because it's, why wouldn't you say the honest truth? But it's the perception of, typically people wouldn't expect someone to be honest, especially ladies, right?
Yes. Or someone calls someone calls me and they're like, hi, how are you doing? And I'm like, not good.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just be so honest, too honest, like unnecessarily. It's a stranger, overshare things, like personal things. It's always, it happens. And then you just feel, after you overshare, you just feel,
yeah, then kind of like vulnerable, because you're just
so vulnerable.
Yeah,
why did I have to share this with that person? Like, and that causes social anxiety, because then you're like, next time I'm going to do the same.
100%, because you'll ruminate on that.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a lot of things.